The fact that I got into quantum physics is kind of funny because a friend of mine is a physicist and an inventor, and he said, "I know nothing about business," and I said, "Well, I know nothing about quantum physics." So here we are. Here is my device, by the way.
Wow.
The first time ever seen on television.
Exclusively on Engati Engage.
Especially exclusively. This thing will power eventually when we create it to a larger size, it will power a Tesla.
Oh, that's great.
It will replace the chargeable battery and it will power the car for 10 years without recharging.
We have the pleasure of welcoming Gary Bizzo to our interview series today. This is Nishita Goyal from the Engati team, and I'm going to begin with a quick introduction of Engati. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code chatbot platform, which is available across 14 channels with 25,000 bots created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. We run the Engati blog and the video channel, which receives upwards of 300,000 visitors annually. And now, moving on to our guest. Gary Bizzo is the CEO of Bizzo Integrated Marketing, Bizzo Management Group, and Siphon Nanotech. He is the adjunct professor of Integrated Marketing, MBA School of Business, New York Institute of Technology, Vancouver campus. Forbes has listed Gary among the top 25 small business accounts on Twitter, and Dystopia lists him among the top 200 social influencers in the world. An international mentor and business coach to over 1,000 leaders, investors, and entrepreneurs, Gary consults with numerous multinationals and 2 foreign governments. He has also built an international reputation as an agent of change using social media and is also a published author with a large social media following. Welcome, Gary. We're thrilled to have you on our channel today.
Nishita, thank you very much. Wow, what a great introduction. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you.
That's great. So moving on to our first question. When I was reading about you, I saw that you're interested in quantum physics and digital marketing. How do you relate both of them, and what interest drove you to be involved in both the market?
Oh, that's easy. How many entrepreneurs do you know?
Couple of them.
Entrepreneurs tend to find opportunities where they get them, and I had an advertising agency many years ago. I moved into social media when it first came out. As you say, I'm a professor of marketing, and I was doing social media influencing, and my clients were wondering how I could prove to them that I was reaching the people I said I was. So I partnered with a colleague, and we ended up joining a company called Bizzo Integrated Marketing because she did all the analytics, and she had a team in Malaysia and one in Amsterdam. So the two of us joined together. The fact that I got into quantum physics is kind of funny because a friend of mine is a physicist and an inventor, and he said, "I know nothing about business," and I said, "Well, I know nothing about quantum physics." So here we are. Here is my device, by the way.
Wow.
The first time ever seen on television.
Exclusively on Engati Engage.
Especially exclusively. This thing will power eventually when we create it to a larger size, it will power a Tesla.
Oh, that's great.
It will replace the chargeable battery and it will power the car for 10 years without recharging.
That's going to be something really significant.
I'll sell you shares.
Definitely would love to be. Okay, so moving on to the next question. How should small businesses and solopreneurs create their own niche in the market by leveraging AI and automation?
Well, the funny thing about AI and automation is that it's changed the whole lead generation model. So it's become more sophisticated, and people, they used to have sales managers and then sales developers. That's been replaced by machine learning because the machine learning can understand consumer behavior a lot better.
True.
Helps the leads become more qualified. It's easier to find the decision makers, adapt the right profile to your customer. And I think somebody like Facebook or Microsoft, maybe Satya Nadella is probably going to do it because they'll probably take over the lead for this field because I think he has the knowledge from India, having run many companies there, and now the CEO of Microsoft. I think he's really positioned to know how this market's going to take off. And solo entrepreneurs, they can find their own niche, whatever it is, and they can adapt using this technology where they can compete where they really couldn't compete before. Everybody's able to do this now.
That's true. I'm sure AI and automation are here to take over and actually help small businesses by cutting a lot of cost on the resources and saving a lot of their time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Definitely. How do you think businesses will digitally transform themselves post the pandemic, and what role do you think social media will play in that?
Well, let's go digital for a minute. I mean, 5G and AI, just by the power, is going to increase the use of video, teleconferencing, training, education, and the future is content marketing. I mean, it's funny, but the Associated Press and Forbes actually uses machine learning and AI to write articles that are data-driven. So it's really kind of neat because it's pushing the envelope so fast and so far that most automation can't keep up to it. They needed the 5G and the artificial intelligence and machine learning to bring it into the next level. I like to call this the next industrial revolution. So we're going to have more remote workers. We're going to have offshore companies, offshore sourcing, and a lot of outsourced stuff. I currently work with a lot of people in India and Pakistan and Nepal on outsourced contracting.
That's right. How do you think businesses are using conversational AI and chatbots for customer service? Are there any future trends to look out for?
Well, I've had terrible issues with chatbots. I think they've been so poorly designed up till now that, and it's only because of machine learning and AI that they haven't progressed as good as they have. I've used them myself, but machine learning and AI is the key to the whole thing. And for instance, 66% of people will not wait 2 minutes for an answer on a website. People are bang, bang, bang. They got to be in and out real quick, and they want their answers. They don't want to wait. So the future trend is someone's got to come up. I bet your company has something to do with this. A company will dominate this industry if they can do it the right way.
Right. So since you mentioned we do deal with that, but I think bots are much faster than human responses. And as you said, people do need something which responds to them like at a faster pace or at a faster pace, because humans do take time to read the question and then respond out there. With something like a chat bot, it's much easier because you've feeded the data to the bot from the back end. The bot has to use its intelligence and respond within like seconds out there. So I think that would make the user feel more proactive from the customer end, from the company end.
For sure, proactive, but a lot of times the bots that I've seen, you can tell right away it's a bot And as soon as you get that, it turns a lot of people off. But now they're, as you say, machine learning, and they're getting it from the user interface. It's so much different. And I know I look 30 years old, but I'm really not. I'm an experienced entrepreneur. This is what happens when you work so hard. But most of my friends don't understand this at all. And when they're talking to chatbots and they don't even know it, but they come out of it with a very bad experience because a lot of them are so poorly done. They don't really work.
That's I think that's a different perspective I've heard so far, but definitely I think everybody has their own experiences out there.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we're talking about the pandemic out here as well, how do you think with digitalization and technology and the new norms post the pandemic, which industries will evolve and survive?
Well, I've been working myself on an educational platform for business, for social media, for startups and all that stuff. And I've been taking my time for the last 2 years. Now it's like I've got a video studio in my home. I've got editing suite and software. I've got my wife as my partner and editor. So this has suddenly become really important. I mean, service industries, online sales portals, Amazon. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of money on Amazon. The only thing I don't buy on Amazon is groceries. And that's probably going to change. Training, anything remote's going to just blow up. And I think people like you said earlier, you're getting used to working from home. Well, what if you really like it? And what if companies realize they can save so much money by having you work from home? As long as you're dedicated and not subject to distractions and all that stuff, it's a great place. So a lot of the trends are going to be focused around the artificial intelligence, machine learning, but that's only going to happen because of the technology that's going to come through the internet.
Right. So new tech trends are definitely going to play a big role in this.
Yeah. I mean, even the way we're using money. In Canada, people won't accept cash. You have to use your card, your debit card or your credit card. And if that's so basic that if that's happening, what else is going to happen? You know what I mean?
How will influencer marketing be a key strategy for many businesses?
Well, it's funny. In the last 2 or 3 years, I guess I'm a large global influencer. With the numbers I have, like 500,000 followers, I reach a certain type of client. Like currently, I'm working with Huawei from China, and I'm working with Microsoft and PayPal. But I think the future of influencers is going to be the micro influencer, the 10,000, around the 10,000 mark of people who have followers, because they're able to engage faster. They're able to engage. People think that they're talking to a friend because someone. I mean, I'm always on the internet. Don't get me wrong, but the thousands of people that try to connect with me, I can't do that, obviously. So I appear to be sometimes my own chatbot or my own robot. Whereas if you have a smaller amount of followers in a specific niche, you can take care of them, engage with them easier.
That's right. But don't you think people would be actually more keen on working with big influencers like you? And my personal experience with you, I'm not denying the fact that you're not. You were really friendly with me also, and I don't see a reason why people would be hesitant or you wouldn't be reaching out so often to big influencers as well.
Well, there's that too. I mean, you shouldn't be fearful of reaching out to anybody. But a lot of times, large influencers charge a lot of money. And I think, as I say, that if you go for a person in the niche that you want to attract, like if you're running a company and you're specifically into athletic wear, you wouldn't get me, an old guy, to promote it for you, right? You get someone who's actually an athlete, maybe, or someone that has a really good blog in athletics or something like that. But of course, I don't think we get to where we are unless we have the ability to engage with everybody.
That's true. So you have worked with various multinationals and government organizations. Can you give us some insights on the pain points that organizations go through in these days to adopt digital transformation tech?
Well, the large companies, obviously they have all the tech in the world, right? The problem is they can't pivot. Do you know what pivot is? They can't move when a trend happens. They can't move fast enough. Everything they do is based on research and committee decisions. So it takes forever. And then there's cost. Like I was working with a company called MRP Easy, like a management company that manages supply chain management. And they said, if you're a big company, you got to spend $1 million to have software that can do what they do for $100 a month. It doesn't make any sense. So I think the big companies and the multinationals, they have to be more lean. They have to understand that they have to think proactively and not try to, they're not going to be living the same way after this. Let's put it that way, right? They have to make some major decisions.
So do you think startups, because of that, have an upper hand because the organizations are still working with the traditional ways and following the traditional norms, and startups are much more flexible in that?
Oh my God, the whole basis for a startup is the ability to have a great idea, but as you're progressing through a business plan or something like that, to be able to pivot, to change in mid-direction. And that's why small companies have so much, so they can outsource and outdo everything that a big company can in some areas. But you're right on about that. That's exactly true.
Great. So, do you have any thoughts, any advice that you want to leave our audience with?
Well, I think there's a lot of discussion about 5G. It's certainly changing our lives, and it's either going to kill us or it's going to make us stronger. I mean, that's a crazy comment, but and the other thing is machine learning and artificial intelligence can't really replace people. If we think that we can replace people, it ain't going to work. The other thing is when companies are using a chatbot like yours, I think you have to be transparent that it is a chatbot. Because as soon as people find out that they're being tricked or fooled, they don't like that. So just my observations. I've been around a long time and I've tried a lot of chatbots, but I like yours. I'm really impressed by it.
That's great. Thank you so much for that.
No, my pleasure.
It was great interviewing you, Gary, and I think your insights were really great, and I think my audience is going to love what you were talking about.
Well,
thank you so much.
Please get back to me anytime, and I'm glad and happy to have met you, Nishita.
That's great. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day ahead.
Thank you.